Tom Brady is headed to his 8th straight AFC Championship game Sunday against the Chiefs, and by now we all know he's 41 years old. But yesterday, Andy Reid said that he hasn't seen any decline in Brady's production. He added, quote, he sees things better than when he was younger. The age thing hasn't hit him. So, Shannon, you think Andy Reid actually believes this?
No, I think it's coach speak. What's he supposed to say? If you listen to Coach Belichick talks, every time he talks about the Bull being in the Hall of Fame. Coach Belichick hasn't said anything bad about an opposing player, and this is what coaches normally do. They don't want to add fuel to someone's fire, and guys get motivated, especially when coaches or players talk about them in a negative light. It fuels their fire. They go out there, and not that they need that, but it's just something about someone that coaches the game, playing the game, or that has played the game, fuels and motivates a player like you wouldn't believe. And if you just look at the last 2 weeks, he played 2 of his best games. He played against the Chargers, might have been his best game. In the last game of the regular season against the Jets, he played unbelievable. But when we critique, analyze, or judge an all-time great, that's what Tom Brady is. He's an all-time great. He is a pantheon, a transcendent figure. You measure him against a younger Tom Brady. You don't measure him against today's quarterbacks. You don't measure him against the other great quarterbacks that's currently playing. That's not how you measure him. That's not how we measure other great players. We measure them against them younger selves. Tom Brady was 18th in completion percentage, 13th in yards per attempt, 10th in touchdowns, 9th in QBR. Is that Tom Brady-esque?
Yes.
Did he fall off a cliff? No, he's not Blake Bortles. He could probably be 48 and be better than Blake Bortles. But if you compare him to what we're used to seeing, this isn't Tom Brady. Tom Brady is normally top 3 in quarterback as far as touchdown passes. He's top 5 in QBR. He's normally top 5 or 6 in completion percentage. So this is not the, is he good? Yes, still a great quarterback. But when you measure him against a younger self, we've seen it. A 35-year-old or a 30-year-old Tom Brady is not taking a sack right before the half when they don't have a timeout. That Tom Brady isn't doing that. A 30-year-old Tom Brady is not flinching in the pocket. He's not missing Chris Hogan when he's wide open in the end zone. That Tom Brady isn't doing that. So, look, I commend Andy. Hey, great. Ooh, unbelievable. We're going to do big things. But secretly behind the scenes, I know what he's telling his defense. For fact.
So answer me this. What did Andy Reid see up close and personal at Foxborough one Sunday night this football season, week 6 of this season? What did he see in the fourth quarter up close and personal? He could reach out and touch it right before his very eyes. He watched 41-year-old Tom Brady throw for 182 yards in the fourth quarter and outgun his kid and win the fourth quarter 18-16 after his kid had brought them all the way back to a 33-30 lead in the fourth quarter. That's pretty special. And I just don't think Andy Reid needed to lie at this point. He didn't need to.
So Coach Belichick tells it. So all coaches tell the truth.
We're talking about Andy Reid, who's cut from very different cloth.
So Andy Reid has never lied.
I don't know if he has or not. I haven't really thought about it, but he's he's more of a gentle soul than,
Is he a coach?
Bill Belichick.
Is he a coach?
Yeah, but
okay.
All he was doing was stating the obvious truth that you can't see because you're blinded by your Brady hate.
But I'm just trying.
You keep seeing mirages of decline and regression and aging because you've dug in that he's about to fall off the cliff.
Well, let me ask you this.
And he's not.
But why? So why didn't you make that point? He threw for this many yards against Tennessee.
Well, again, they all lose games. Okay, let's talk about.
They all win games.
Let's put it in this perspective. Let's keep it in the perspective of what happened this year. I thought he had an MVP season because of degree of difficulty. It was the greatest he's ever faced in his 19 years with Bill Belichick. Because I think even you agree, Bill Belichick provided him with the worst supporting cast he's ever had as far as the worst defense he's ever been strapped with and the worst receiving core he's ever had. And they did have Josh Gordon, and I give Belichick props for going out and taking the flyer on Josh Gordon, and it lasted for 11 games. And we both agreed for the first 4 or 5, he didn't really look like Josh Gordon.
No.
He started to get a hold of it in about the 5th or 6th game, and that could have really helped this coming Sunday night at Kansas City to have that guy, but he doesn't have that guy. And the defense has often been pathetically, shockingly bad, and it's hard to overcome that when you don't have a Travis Kelce and you don't have a Tyreek, and you don't have a Sammy Watkins. You don't have any of those guys.
But when Tom Brady was throwing to a prime Rob Gronkowski, you didn't say that about any other quarterback what they didn't have. You only make that excuse for Tom Brady.
We're just talking about this year, this guy, what he did this year. All I know is you keep harping on he made one mistake. He was trying to do too much at the end of the half. But what happened in the game? Because if we look at the full circle of the game at Miami, remember, that was December 9th. It's the turning point moment of the AFC bracket of the playoffs because Tom Brady had his best game statistically of the season, and he throws for 358 yards and 3 touchdowns, has a QBR of 88. And trust me, factored into the QBR scale, 0 to 100, is the fact that he screwed up at the end and they just ran out of time because he was trying to do too much. But still, he overcame that. And in 82-degree weather in Miami, where he had lost 4 of his last 5 games, he put them in position to be up 33-28 with 7 seconds left, and the Dolphins are 69 yards away from their goal line.
Okay.
And that's 69 yards away from having the AFC Championship game this Sunday night in Foxborough versus Kansas City in sub-0 degree weather, right?
Yeah.
It could be in Foxborough, but it's in Kansas City because of what happened in the last 7 seconds in 82-degree weather in Miami. That's the whole turning point of the playoffs. Tom Brady cannot be faulted for that because he put the team in position with, you could argue, his best game of the year to be the #1 seed in the AFC. They had reservations for 53 at your restaurant that night. Yes. 53, except the coach, I don't know what the coach is doing. He put Rob Gronkowski in to defend a Hail Mary from 69 yards away.
Okay, help me understand this. So why is it that when opposing team quarterbacks put their team in position to win? Hold on, wait a minute.
We're just talking about Tom Brady. I don't know.
Just hear me out. I just want you to hear me out. When other quarterbacks put their team in position to win, and then Tom Brady comes on the field, you don't say anything about the opposing defense let their quarterback down. See, it's only the defenses let Tom Brady down. Why is that?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know because Tom Brady's that good. He's just too good. Okay, but he's done it at the highest level in Super Bowls.
The excuses that you make, because see, again, if he loses a game, if the Patriots lose a game, the defense lets him down. He doesn't have a Travis Kelce. He doesn't have an Antonio Brown. Why is it that you do that when he loses?
Okay, he lost some games, but he also put them in position to be the #1 seed.
But Skip,
how do you do that? Do you understand what an achievement that is for a 41-year-old quarterback?
If you don't mind me asking.
It's sensational. It's truly, on degree of difficulty, it's the MVP year. It was much harder for Brady to put his team in that position than for Patrick Mahomes with all those weapons to put his team in.
Again, it's all the weapons. You make every excuse.
Does Tom Brady have any weapon right now? What is he doing? He's throwing to 32-year-old Julian Edelman. That's it.
Skip.
Chris Hogan?
He's throwing to the same guys that he wins with, and that when he loses.
Once upon a time, he had the most dominating tight end in the history of the National Football League.
But you never said anything about that.
We're talking about this year. We're talking about decline. We're talking about aging. We're talking about Father Time tapping you on the shoulder. And all I saw against the Chargers Sunday in Foxborough, I saw him be better than ever. Wait a second. I'm just doing eye test. Did his velocity look as hot as we've ever seen it? What about his accuracy? What about his feel for the game? What about his reading? What about his anticipation? He has never been better than he was against the Chargers. That was your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, it was.
You loved him. You picked him to win the game.
So let me ask you a question. So he threw for what, 300? He was 34 of 44.
343.
For 343.
Yeah. QBR of 87.
QBR of 87.
Yeah.
And he's throwing up to a broken down Rob Gronkowski.
Let
me finish, Skip.
I love it. Keep going.
He's throwing to a 32-year-old Julian Edelman, who you say is like, he's throwing to a Chris Hogan that you told me a couple of weeks ago he had gone 5 games and only had 3 targets. Now,
throwing Philip Dorsett. Considered a bust in Indianapolis. Thank you.
He had one of his best games, but when he lost to Tennessee, or when he lost to Detroit, all you did was make excuses and says, who is he throwing to, Shannon? Why don't you make those same excuses for other quarterbacks, is my point.
There were games on the road where he just couldn't overcome how bad his defense was. Well, you realize
if his defense fault,
you realize Mariota torched the defense. You realize at Detroit, Matthew Stafford torched the defense. You realize at Jacksonville,
what about Tom Brady?
Bortles threw for 376.
What about Tom Brady scoring 10 points?
Okay, they're all going to have bad games and lose some games. Okay, but who was in position to have the 1 seed? How great is that? How great is that?
Hold on. Didn't Mahomes put them in front? So the Kansas City was in position.
Okay, how about these games? Head-to-head against, let's take Aaron Rodgers. Who won that game? Tom Brady outdueled Aaron Rodgers head-to-head.
Name a team that's in the playoffs that he beat.
How about Patrick Mahomes?